Hey all, this is Redditosker. This video will be spoiler-free as the game just recently came out. The video will not show any places or locations relevant to the story. It's only going to be talking about the mechanics involved with the tips, and the footage will take place in nondescript spaces, so you wouldn't be able to accidentally gleam anything. Alright, let's get started. Tip number 1. There are items that you can fuse to your arrows that will do more damage than what's listed in their description. As you're probably aware, the fuse system lets you fuse any item onto your arrow before firing. Those items will have a variety of effects, but they also likely increase the damage of the arrow. The amount the damage is increased is shown in the item description. However, what you might not be aware of is that some items are specifically designed to be fused with arrows. And if fused with arrows, they will increase the arrow damage by double their listed value. The items that have this effect will tell you so in their item description. Here you can see the Bokoblin Fang says that it has a fuse attack power of 2, and as you can see here, if you fuse it to a weapon, it increases that weapon's attack power by 2. Its description tells us that this is one of the items that increases its damage output when fused to an arrow. And sure enough, when you fuse it to an arrow, it increases that arrow's damage by 4 instead of 2. This double damage increase is consistent with all of the items that do this. For example, the Moblin Fang increases the arrow damage by 8 instead of 4, and the boss Bokoblin Fang increases the damage by 12 instead of 6. Like I said, you can tell which ones do this effect by reading the item descriptions, but as you might have noticed from the ones I've shown so far, there's a pattern to them. If it's a monster part that's a tooth, a fang, a nail, or a claw, then it's probably one of the items meant to be fused with arrows. There's at least one exception to this rule though, so you should always check the item description before fusing them. Alright, tip number 2. Useful auto-build creations. So as you might be aware, at some point in the game, you will gain the ability to use auto-build. I will not reveal how you get auto-build, in case someone in the audience considers that a spoiler, but I will talk about what it is and some effective ways to use it. Basically, auto-build is an ability that lets you reconstruct something that you've built previously. It does this by automatically assembling the pre-built structure using items in the immediate environment. However, if there are no items in the immediate environment, then auto-build will still be able to recreate the structure by using your Zonite to recreate the missing pieces. It will cost 3 Zonite per piece you don't have. So for this tip, I'm going to talk about a couple of Zonite efficient constructs that are quite useful for how much Zonite they use. The first is a simple double trampoline. It costs only 6 Zonite to make. The double trampoline will launch Link very high into the air, functioning as a very quick and easy Rivali's Gale. You can use this to engage in combat and take advantage of the slowdown effect while firing a bow mid-air. You can also use it to get to high places that you don't want to climb or climb less. You can also fuse together 3 springs for greater height. 3 springs does seem to make you go higher, although I don't think that it keeps working indefinitely. I'm not sure 4 springs does more. I'm not 100% sure on that, but 2 springs usually is more than enough for whatever it is I want to do. Now the other useful auto-build product is this vehicle. I tried to make it as Zonite efficient as possible. Since the build is only 3 pieces, it only requires 9 Zonite to make. It consists of only the wheel, a stabilizer, and a steering wheel. As you can see, it moves fairly quickly, and its battery drain is fairly tolerable. Since it's so cheap to make, I find myself using this a lot, especially when I'm out exploring random caves or locations and I need to cross a lot of distance, and I don't feel like going back to my horse every time I want to go somewhere else. Alright, next tip. You should always carry an axe. As you might have noticed, boxes in the world usually contain arrows. And arrows are really useful. I find myself often trying to get some more. So you definitely want to be breaking every wooden box you see. And the most efficient way to break these boxes is to hit them with an axe. Axe-type weapons will break them in one hit. Now instead of hitting them with the axe, you could use Ultra Hand to lift them up and then drop them. This will save you some weapon durability. However, I actually don't think that's a very efficient way of doing this. Using Ultra Hand to break boxes may save you a couple of points of durability, but it also wastes time. It's slower. If you drop the boxes on top of each other, you can break 2 at a time, but occasionally you mess up and it doesn't work correctly, which means you have to take more time to lift another box up and drop it again. I suppose it's a matter of preference, but for me, I prefer breaking these boxes quickly, rather than the couple points of durability I save by using Ultra Hand in this slow way. Finally, my last tip relates to using Ultra Hand. When you're using Ultra Hand and you are trying to unstick something that you've already stuck together, you can shake the analog stick a little bit and that will unstick the item. However, what I found is that it's a lot faster and more comfortable to just shake the controller around to unstick things. When done this way, the thing unsticks a lot quicker, and seeing how often I'm using Ultra Hand in this game, unsticking things faster and more comfortably is a real benefit. Alright, I think that's everything. Thank you all very much for watching.